Well, I'm going to give you the real reason New World Order is going to fail. And that's if you get your giddy minds and your head out of your ass and quit worrying too much and start scamming. If you remember way back during the Prohibition times, or that was before your time, before my time actually, you know how that went over. It went over like a lead balloon. There could have been 500,000 Hillary Clintons out there calling for the prohibition of alcoholic beverages and beer, and you know what? It was like, hell no, we ain't going to comply. Actually, I'm going to tell you what the deal was, why Prohibition really came about. It was something very unexpected. On its surface, it was the women's abolitionist movement, but it was John D. Rockefeller that actually pushed it. He gave him $4 million to push for the prohibition of the manufacture and sale of alcohol. And the reason he did that was because John D. Rockefeller, who had oil companies, his crude oil, Standard Oil, was in direct competition with the farmers of the United States of America for the sale of fuel that can run cars. So he wanted to corner the whole market. So his big competition was farmers. So the way to put him out of business was to stop the manufacture and sale of alcohol. Well, it didn't really work, but it did work as far as the automotive and transportation industry did, because actually, if you look back go back in your history, Rudolph Diesel, he wanted to have his diesel motor run on hemp oil, a plant-based fuel. Initially, it actually even ran on peanut oil. Henry Ford wanted to have his cars run on alcohol from plant-based materials. That's initially even the Model T used to have a timing device on the engine that you can time the engine for alcohol from the farmers or the gasoline from John D. Rockefeller's Standard Oil, depending on where you filled it up. It was filled up at a farm. Now, I'm going to tell you, man, that the New World Order ain't going to win as long as you don't lay down and let them win. Hey, you might get defeated. There's going to be some people that's going to get screwed up, but they ain't going to win. There's too many of us, and there's too few of them. And they're in fear, I can tell you that right now. I could tell you, even back in the day, this is back in 1925, just my family here, he had the trucking business out there in Bayonne. I won't say anything that they were involved in, but it was quite lucrative, and, we kept the wheels of commerce rolling. That's the way things were. And here he is on the Indian motorcycle, and you notice the boxing bag back here. That was a big pastime of people in the family. An Indian motorcycle with the USA flag on it. Everybody was a World War I vet, too. I could tell you that right now. These were all sons of my great-grandfather, who was the illegitimate son of Edward VII. Believe it or not, even though he was half Italian, he was, Edward VII used to like to go to party at Italy and France a lot, and that's where my great-grandfather came from, a union of one of those women anyway. And here's the Garfield bomber. He's the guy pictured in the middle, surrounded by the two ladies. This was a good friend of the family, too. So back in the day, nobody talked like little girly men like the freaking way they got today. You notice how they got this on, what do you call it, on, the movies, how everybody guy talks like, all that kind of shit like that, and they always talk like that on the, on a TV, on a freaking DeForest Cablevision, which I will never paid for unless they paid me. They'd have to pay me a lot of money to watch that shit. I'll stick with YouTube. But I'm going to tell you, man, a lot of times more independent spirits came out of this bootlegging company, basically, if you want to call it. Look at Joe Kennedy. He had JFK. Now you hear, oh yeah, we lament what happened to JFK. He was bucking the freaking establishment, powers that be. He was bucking the financial powers, and he got killed. And I'll tell you one thing: there's plenty of survivors around. You don't hear about the people that are working against the bullshit because they don't freaking shoot their big mouths off. Because that's how you survive. I dropped you a couple of hints there, but I'm not going to tell you too much more. That's how they survive, man. You don't freaking go headlong against the freaking, the bulldozer or the tank, but you outflank it and you do things to freaking screw up the wheels of, the Illuminati and New World Order machines. You could do it, man. You could do it. Keep the faith. keep a low profile, but just keep working at it. You know, for everyone that's a high-profile case that gets, knocked down, that ain't the end of the deal, man, because there's plenty of people that are working behind the scenes to keep things rolling in our favor. And, the majority of the people, they're looking for, hey, man, if we don't want Obamacare, we don't want Obamacare. If we want beer, we want beer. Whatever the hell it is, the New World Order is going to freaking lose. Just keep the faith, and don't worry about, all this other crap that's coming out, because a lot of people are, too focused in on, they think the whole world is changing because the media is telling you it's changing. It's all propaganda, man. That's all it is. Don't support the media. I can support the freaking people that are independent and telling you the freaking shit that's really the deal. Now, I didn't tell you a real lot on this video, I know. I could tell you some really juicy stories. I did say some really juicy stories before. And there's a lot of stuff going on. I drop some hints once in a while. I'm out of the loop now. I mean, I don't really get into this kind of shit anymore like I was. But I can tell you one thing. There's plenty of people that are working against the bullshit system, and they don't advertise it. They don't advertise it left and right. So here I am, great big fat target. I'm not going to tell you that kind of stuff, man. Hey, I'm just saying, hey, I'm a pro-USA type guy, and I'm for the people. Just like one of my relatives from the past here riding the Indian motorcycle, American flag in a boxing bag in the background there. You know what I mean? Hey, no messing around. No messing around. You got to stay true to the cause, and it's a matter of you also have to have a low profile. That's the thing. You get too high up there, you got a high profile, you're better off doing your job behind the scenes. And so just keep the faith. Just a little prep talk here, I guess. I got to go out there and work on my El Camino and do some more of that welding shit and get some work done. But I just want to put this out here. Don't worry about the freaking New World Order, the lizard people, people profiting by freaking doom and gloom. Hey, just remember, the good example was what happened with Prohibition. Hey, man, they passed a constitutional amendment to freaking ban the sale and manufacture of alcohol, blah, blah, blah. How'd that work out? Gee. Hey, man, it just fed the machine, supply and demand. People want something, people are going to get it. And you know what people really want? Freedom. Freedom. Do their own shit and to be left alone by freaking bullshit freaking control freaks like Hillary Clinton, for instance. And, we could send her to the moon. One-way trip. All right, over and out.